Small action, dopamine begins to rise. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. That is why this 1 hour is so powerful. It breaks the illusion that you are powerful. Begin. That one honest hour is where excuses lose their power. The brain loves comfort because comfort feels safe. But science shows that staying comfortable for too long slowly teaches the mind to fear growth. When you step into that hour of focus, even with fear present, you send a new signal to your nervous system. You tell it, I can survive discomfort. And once the brain learns that, confidence begins to grow naturally. Muniba Mazari did not wake up fearless. Fear was there every day. But courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to act while fear is still speaking. Neuroscience explains this clearly. When you take action despite fear, the prefrontal cortex gains control over the amygdala. That means logic starts guiding your emotions instead of emotions controlling your actions. 1 hour of intentional effort can strengthen that mental muscle. This is why waiting to feel ready is a trap. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a result. In that 1 hour, you are not trying to be perfect. You are training your mind to show up. You are teaching yourself that progress matters more than mood. And this lesson stays with you long after the hour ends. Think about how many hours you have already given to worry, to regret, to replaying old conversations in your head. Now imagine redirecting just one of those hours toward building something instead of breaking yourself down. That shift alone can change the direction of your life. Psychologists call this attentional control. Where attention goes, identity follows. In that hour, you also begin to separate your pain from your worth. Many people confuse suffering with failure, but suffering is a human experience, not a personal flaw. Muniba's life reminds us that broken circumstances do not mean a broken soul. When you take time to understand this deeply, self-respect returns, and self-respect changes how you make decisions. This hour is also where discipline is born. Not the harsh kind that punishes you, but the gentle kind that protects your future. Discipline is simply choosing what matters most over what feels easiest. Studies show that people who practice small acts of discipline develop higher self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. You may not see immediate results, and that is okay. The brain does not change overnight, but it does change consistently. Every focused hour strengthens neural pathways linked to resilience and hope. Over time, these pathways become your default. You stop falling apart as easily. You recover faster. You believe in yourself a little more. Muniba often speaks about gratitude not as positivity, but as power. Gratitude shifts attention from loss to possibility. In that 1 hour, acknowledging even one thing you still have can reframe your entire mindset. Research shows gratitude increases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals linked to motivation and emotional stability. That is not philosophy. That is biology. This hour can also be where you decide to stop explaining your pain to people who refuse to understand it. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is necessary. Emotional boundaries reduce stress and improve mental clarity. When you give yourself permission to step back, you create space to grow. Over time, this 1 hour becomes a habit, and habits shape destiny. The future is not built in dramatic leaps, it is built in quiet consistency. Muniba's journey teaches us that even when life takes away your ability to stand, it can never take away your ability to rise. Right now, you might feel tired, confused, or unsure. That does not disqualify you. It qualifies you because this hour is not for people who have it all figured out. It is for people who are willing to try, even while uncertain. Somewhere ahead, there is a version of you that is stronger, calmer, and more self-aware. That version is created the moment you stop waiting and start choosing. And it all begins with 1 hour, used with intention. That future version of you is not created by luck or talent. It is created by repetition of small, brave choices. This 1 hour is not a miracle by itself. It is the doorway. And every time you step through it, you become someone who does not abandon themselves when life gets hard. Muniba Mazari's life reminds us that identity is not defined by what happens to us, but by how we respond when everything is taken away. When you sit in that 1 hour, you are not escaping reality, you are meeting it with strength. And the brain rewards that meeting with clarity. Studies show that intentional solitude improves problem solving and emotional regulation. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is where answers begin to form. In this hour, you also learn patience. Not passive waiting, but active endurance. The kind that says, I will keep going even if progress is slow. This mindset reduces anxiety because the brain no longer expects instant results. It learns to trust the process, and trust creates calm. This is also the hour where comparison loses its grip. When you are focused on your own growth, other people's timelines stop distracting you. Research shows that constant comparison increases stress and lowers self-esteem. But focused self-improvement does the opposite. It builds inner stability. You stop chasing validation and start building value. Muniba often speaks about dignity. Dignity is choosing not to give up on yourself, even when life feels unfair. In that hour, you reclaim your dignity. You stop negotiating with your potential. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. And that internal shift changes how the world responds to you. This hour might also be where you forgive your past self. The one who didn't know better. The one who made mistakes while trying to survive. Self-compassion is not weakness, it is neurological support. Studies show self-compassion reduces depression and increases resilience. When you stop attacking yourself, you free up energy to move forward. You may still fall, you may still fail. But after this hour becomes part of your life, failure will no longer define you, it will refine you. You will recover faster because you have practiced returning to yourself. And that is a skill many people never learn. Eventually, this 1 hour becomes a quiet promise you keep. No matter how loud the world gets, you return to that space, you reflect, you realign, you remind yourself why you started, and slowly, without forcing it, your life begins to look different. Your reactions soften, your confidence steadies, your decisions become clearer. Not because life got easier, but because you became stronger, and strength is built when no one is watching. Muniba's story is proof that even when the body is limited, the spirit is not. Even when circumstances are cruel, meaning can still be created. And meaning transforms survival into purpose. The future you are hoping for does not arrive all at once. It is built hour by hour, choice by choice. And the most important hour is the one you choose to begin. This is where everything comes together. Because in the end, the message is not about doing more. It is about choosing differently. 1 hour is not small when it is used with honesty and intention. 1 hour is where you stop running from yourself and start standing with yourself. And that alone can change the direction of your life. Muniba Mazari's journey teaches us that life does not ask for perfection. It asks for courage. It asks for presence. It asks for the willingness to rise again, even when rising looks nothing like what you imagine. Your power is not in what you have lost or what you fear losing. Your power is in what you choose to do next. That 1 hour might feel uncomfortable, it might feel heavy, but it will also feel real, and real is where growth begins. In that hour, you plant a seed. You may not see it immediately, but with consistency, it grows into confidence, clarity, and quiet strength. The kind of strength that does not shout but endures. You do not need permission to begin. You do not need validation. You do not need the perfect moment. All you need is the courage to give yourself 1 honest hour, because that hour is not just time, it is a turning point. Somewhere in the future, you will look back and realize that everything changed when you stopped waiting and started choosing. When you decided that your pain would not be the end of your story, but the beginning of your purpose. So when this video ends, don't rush back into noise. Take that hour, sit with yourself, choose growth over comfort, meaning over fear, and faith over doubt, because 1 hour, used with intention, can change your future forever.